about last week. So we had the introduction, we had that quiz, and now we're moving into the beginning of this. So there's a couple things I want to talk about real quick because I'm recording this, so hopefully other people will listen. There are a couple there. When you go to do your dissertation project or whatever they call it in the program, what I have been told is most of you will be doing a paired sample t-test. I'm not expecting you to know that unless you've had statistics before. It's basically when you take a pre and a post and you see which one is better, the difference in the means. Okay, that's what I've been told at this point. As I get more information about the project and how it's all set up, I'll add to it. I do not believe that's one of the tests that is in this class. So when we get to the t-test portion of it, I will be putting out a video that says, you know, this is how you do a paired sample t-test. It'll be on YouTube, so you can save it to your YouTube files. Everything I'm doing is on YouTube. So if you put in my name, Jeff Ianson, my beautiful face comes up, and all my videos, everything are on there. Old and new are all on there. How to do SPSS and that. We'll do a little bit more. I really can't do a lot in terms of videos for Excel because I give you the answer then, and I don't want. You really need to find the answer. So let's talk about finding answers. Okay, if you have turned in your, other than I think if you didn't turn it in the last 2 hours, if you turn your like your Excel in the last 2 hours, it didn't get graded. Okay, it didn't get graded. But if you notice, you've gone in, if you turned it in like even yesterday, it's already been graded. I grade daily. I don't grade on Saturday or Sunday after it's done. If you have blown it completely, you will get it back, and I'll resubmit the assignment. You're going to do it over. I need you to understand these things. I teach differently. There's no reason you can't get a good grade in this class other than these quizzes. Okay. You only got one more. So I'm going to do a little more deep dive into that one so I can prepare us well for that one. So, because it was a lot of work for me. So there's 31 people in the class. I think I counted where I did almost 125 tests overall. Getting the answers back and getting it back until you got it right, putting out the videos and everything else. We're going to cut that time. So you turn something in early in the week, you got a good chance of it coming back if it's wrong and say, you missed this, this, and this, fix it. Now it's your job to fix it. So that means afterwards you need to check every day to see if it's come back. I don't know if you get a notice back in your email, but staying on top of it. It ends on Sunday. I grade early morning Sunday before I go to church, clear out the bin so I feel good. And then the rest of the day, I generally do, for 99% of the time, I do not grade on Sunday afternoon. So if you're waiting till Sunday afternoon to do your work, you're getting a grade. If you're doing it before that, and if I'm going to be out of town where I do not have internet, I will let you know in advance that I will be away from my computer and won't be able to edit. But I like to edit, and especially in this class, number one, it takes away fear. It takes away the thing of making mistakes. Biggest thing is in stats is there's still a fear of stats and so on and so forth. The idea here is you do your best and you follow the directions. I'm going to give you guidelines of what you need to do to fix it so you can get it right. Then you get it right. I'm not going to give you answers, but I'm going to, like I did in the test, I said, that's not an inferential statistics test. Okay, so you got to go back to there. That article was heavy. It was a tough article. I'm going to say it. And then if you mastered it and got it right, give yourself a big pat on the back because you got data analysis models and you had t-tests and you had the chi-squared test. And the other part I would tell you is give me only what I'm asking for. Some of you answered that first question in the test, said, give me a descriptive statistic test. By the way, there really isn't no such thing as a descriptive. It's either a descriptive or a frequency. Some of you caught that and you wrote it. But some of you said age, gender, BMI, da-da-da-da-da. It asked for one. And the last question asked for another one. But you gave every single one in the top one. And some of you answered every single one. And you didn't get to that last question and you already done it. I didn't knock you down for that. But it's the idea of in statistics, give me what I asked for and don't fluff it up. So men are higher than women. It's not men are higher than women and women are higher lesser than men. That's like, I don't even know. It doesn't even sound right. If it says men are higher than women, you say men are higher than women. Okay. So understand, look at it and give me the best answer. If your answer is wrong and you're doing it during the week and it's wrong, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to point you in the right direction to get the right answer. Because if you learn this when you go to your dissertation project, you're not going to stress. Comes time to it, you're just going to go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Oh, I remember I have Dr. Jeff's video. Go put in all the numbers, press all the buttons, boom, it pops out, and you're able to analyze it. Okay. And I haven't really gotten a complete understanding of the actual assignments. I know them and I've done them all, but I may, when we come in on Wednesday, I may go back and discuss and talk about conclusions, because I don't know if they ask a lot of conclusions. So let me just do a primer on this, on what you're really doing. Most of you work in a field where you make decisions. Do you give that medicine, or do you talk to the doctor about this, or do you talk to the doctor about that? I'm not going to say. I'm a psychologist. I have my degrees in psychology. I know about nursing. I know I've had many nurses in my time I've been in the hospital, and I've saved my mom's life because the nurse didn't look at the right portion of the leg. She lost blood to her legs for 24 hours because the doctor pushed off on a graph when she had her hysterectomy. And I walked in, her feet are cold. Her feet shouldn't be cold. You did a hysterectomy. Shouldn't be feet are cold. Oh, she's fine. No, she's not. Please call her doctor. I'm not calling doctor. And I said, you might want to go down and talk to the head nurse, because my doctor is about 4'2", and he's like a spark plug and he will light you up. So I'm saving you from all of this. And she went down and then came back, and they said they called him. He came in, foot's boom, and everything just started to happen. Of course, she said, thank you later. I said, yeah, I knew. Nobody wants to call a doctor if you're not sure. I'm telling you, that foot's cold and there's no blood going. Okay, moving on from that. But it's decision. I made a decision. Feet are cold, I'm telling him. In stats, that's what you're really looking for. And that's what they talk about, evidence-based. You're taking evidence and you're making it and the next decision. So when you get your dissertation project, you're going to compile this data, but understand that statistics is not real. I use that word in a general sense. It's the idea that it's not like 1 + 1 is 2. Okay. That came up years ago with my son. And he said, 1 + 1 is 2. Why? And I said, 1 + 1 is 2 because I said so. My dad said so. Grandma said so. All my teachers, all through my life, everybody says 1 + 1 is 2. But in stats, you can look at a number. You may not have all of the things, but now you can make a decision left or right. And my greatest thing is, I say, everybody goes to Starbucks. There's that little screen up there, and it says it counts the minutes. Years ago, I worked at Taco Bell at the corporate office. I was in charge of POS for every taco sold, every enchilada sold, everything, and used to get compiled to where I was. It's the same idea. I would then send that up all the way to the president, and they would make decisions on whether they were going to keep stuff, send it to R&D, or whatever. That's what statistics does for you. Okay. Especially when you get your dissertation project, you're going to be probably working in what we call a neutral area. It's not positive and it's not negative. That's the way I do all my studies and everything. I want the data to send me either positive or negative, or positive and negative, which means I may do a compare and contrast when I go to discuss it. It's that simple. This class sets you up to hopefully understand enough to be as super dangerous as possible when it comes time to somebody say, oh, how about it? What do we do with these numbers? And you say, hey, we'll run a 1 sample t-test, which they call students t-test, kind of outdated. Students t-test, where you're just looking at the numbers and you're picking a mean, and it's either above or below. And then you go to the independent sample, and it goes, that's on 2 variables. And one's going to be higher. You're going to look at the difference between the 2 means. And then the next step is taking that and being able to put it into, taking that abstract idea and putting it into words that make sense, that you could point one direction or the other, bottom line. Then you have some other tests that go a little more deeper and everything else. But that's it. So understand that it's not a perfect science, because I run a test on, let's say, your grades. and I don't have a lot of men, but regardless, if we were half and half and the women's tests were higher than the men's test, and I put the mean at, let's say, 80, but the women had a score of 89 and the men had a score of 79. Now my decision is, what am I doing better with the women than I am the men? Is it just the men? And then there's variables that you don't know. Maybe all the men didn't get any sleep. Maybe all the women had most of the answers already because they studied harder. All those things come into play, and that's what we kind of show you. So I'm going to take one more step back into last week and talk about an important topic, which is descriptives and frequencies. The words that we're using to test a descriptive statistic test. Technically, if you look in the book, it's not there. It's either descriptive or frequencies. Anytime you go to a new doctor, or let's say you're in a doctor's office and they come in and they hand them the clipboard with the 12 pages with name, address, phone number, what injuries do you have? And then you got the big checklist of, have you had a heart failure, what surgeries you had? When that all goes in the computer, that is really descriptives and frequencies. Okay. Descriptives tell you all about the individual you're dealing with. It would be a range. So it'd be minimum, maximum, mean, and standard deviation. Now it's a frequency, like how many years have you been a nurse? And it's a number. I'm sorry. If it's a descriptive, it's going to be a number. So how many years have you been a nurse? So let's say in the room, we got people with 1 year and we got people that have got 20 years. Well, that gives you a range, and it gives you a mean, and it gives you a standard deviation and everything else. Okay. Now you move to the frequencies, and now you can do the same thing and put that in there, but it's going to just label out the numbers, and it's not very great. So if on that side, you go to age. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Gender. Sorry, my bad. Gender. There's two there, male and female. Okay. You don't do that in a descriptive because it works out to being a word changed into a number. So let me go back to the beginning. Descriptive is a number, such as how many years have I been teaching? 15. How many years have you been a nurse? 15. So on and so forth. A frequency is something that has a word. So male and female, we can't add. Let's say you have 100 in there. You can't add the male with the letters. But now I change that to 1 and 2, and now I can add it up. And now that comes up with count and a frequency, which is a percentage. Why is this important? Because all the tests that you're going to run give you an answer and give you a conclusion. Now, those descriptives and frequencies are what you go back and take that and look at and say, well, hey, you know what? I had 28 males and 2 females, and the males were higher than the females. Well, it doesn't look right. Even though when you went to the other side, the scores come out with a score of like 89 and 79. When you look at it and go, oh, I only had 2 females, I now can make a decision that that probably wasn't the greatest, but now I can still talk about the men and how the men did. There's lots of things that you can do. Okay. So that's the idea of where I want you to kind of be at mentally in there, that each thing intercedes on each other, but each test that you're going to run, such as the ones that were in the test, like the chi-squared and the student t-test, those are going to end up being separate. But then you're going to point it back. If you do it right, you can point it back to demographics. Now you can make decisions on what's happening. Now that's where my psychology brain comes in and says, okay, this, and this. But everybody's, they're not eating. They're nutrition wise, they're not eating, but they're poor. Or they're not eating and they're very rich. Why would they not be eating? Now you can put it into context, and it's taking something abstract, critically thinking about it, and coming up with a decision. That's why I allow people to turn in the stuff during the week, if possible, to get edits. Because then if you start to see it, now that pattern happens, and there's a pattern in everything in this. In your dissertation project, there's a pattern. Here, there's a pattern. Research methods class, there's a pattern. When you find the pattern, like old Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man, when you found that perfect way of doing it, it becomes easy. You fly through things. Okay. So let's get into this week, and then we'll do some question and answers. Okay. You have the code book, and basically all you're going to do is, and there's lots of way of doing this. There's lots of way. You can do it any way you want, but basically a code book is set up so that when you're doing research, everything quantitated can be generalized to the greater population. So in there, they talked about sample and they talked about population. The sample is a small grouping. So all the students at Point Loma, that would be a sample. If we did everybody, as many people as we could here, but then let's say we want to say it from let's say just a religious school, not pointing any religion, but religious schools. So you took a whole bunch of religious schools and you did it. Now that would be a bigger sample. But if we went just with Point Loma, we can look at Point Loma's. If it's reliable and valid, now we can point that information to the entire population. So the idea here is let's say since you're on the screen, Megan does a study, and I love her study, and I want to replicate it. She does it here in California. I'm moving to the Midwest. I go out there and I'm going to do the same. I'm at some kind of a religious school out there, and I turn around and I go and I get her paper and I look at her procedure and I say, I'm going to do this over here. So I follow every step of the procedure to the T, and I run the same data the same way. I'm looking to see if in California is one thing and the Midwest is another, or is it the same? If they're different, now I compare and contrast. If they're the same, I read them in the same. But that's how you get to your conclusions, which are probably the biggest portion of it. For right now, it's really, am I getting the right answer? But we really, as we go along, if it's not done in there, in these meetings, I'm going to go over the data and talk about conclusions. So you are may have somebody in the room kind of give me what you think the conclusion is, and we run with it. Mistakes are normal. It's the idea of not saying anything and just sitting there and not when I ask a question in this, give me your best shot. And then if you're close, we just add to it. If you're far away, we try again. And all of a sudden the light bulb comes on and you start to see it, and you'll start to see it in each and every one you do, and everything becomes more efficient. So the code book, in essence, is basically just a rule book or a guide to what's going to be in there on that Excel sheet. So like basically it's the titles. I don't even know how really to put it into words. So you have titles across the top, and each one of those titles, such as age, you have male and female. So male, you would put age, and I don't remember what the whole thing was. What age, nominal, and then male 1 and female 2. Okay. Follow what the book says and what the assignment says, and you'll be just fine. Okay. My thing is, some of these things are conceptual. If you got it, and I feel you got it, I'm good, because everybody could do this just a little bit different. It's not really there. The other portion is you have to do the Excel. Okay. You open up your Excel, you port the thing in, and then you can do it at the bottom with the little tabs, or you can do 4 separate. Okay. 4 separate is better. It's easier for me. 4 separate files, 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever it is, and just move those, put them in order, move them over, and put it in. It's probably one of the easiest assignments you're going to have all semester. Okay. And then post them in there, and then it turns it into a PDF. Okay. I know what the PDF is supposed to look like. Don't stress. If it's a PDF, if it looks like it's supposed to, I'm good. If not, I'll open up the Excel and see if you did it right. That's it. Then I give you your points. It's really easy. It's 100 or 0. There's no in between until Sunday. Because if it's not 100, I'm going to send it back for you to make your little adjustments. But this one is pretty easy. Just bring it up, sort them, take all the 18s and put it in there. The 19s, put them in there. 20s, put in, and so on and so on. That is it for your assignments for this week. So are there any questions on anything I talked about today? Today's pretty straightforward. So when you come in, what I'll do is I'll do a quick recap, and then it won't be as long as tonight. It'll be a quick recap. I'll talk about the assignments to the best of my ability without giving you the answers. Okay. One way when we start doing the testing is if you, I don't know if it's in there and you'll have to let, I'll look. When we start doing the actual tests, I will post the example that's in the book. So you could do the step by step. I love this book. I wish I'd have had this book for the last 10 years. It's really step by step. Follow the steps in there, and you're going to get the outcome. And then when you do that, you should be able to get the same answer that's given in the book. And then it tells you what you need to write. Okay. What it doesn't tell you is drawing a conclusion. So I'll talk about that every Tuesday night, whether you're here or not. And I'll say, look at this. And then here is the best conclusion for that. And why this is the best conclusion. Okay. And it's all based on the data. It's all based on what is in front of you. So I will go over the answer to the Excel, and if you're not giving an answer, a conclusion, I will talk about the conclusion so you start to understand what you're looking at. The last I'm gonna leave you with is everything you do, and it's much easier in SPSS than it is in Excel, tells a story. Your write-up tells a story. It tells how important it is, how vital it is in the confidence interval, and if it's believable. But your numbers really go to a conclusion that allows you to make the decision. But it's a story of what kind of test did you run? And you're not going to do a lot of that in here. But what kind of test you run? Was it significant or not? Was the p-value right? Were you able to do the hypotheses for that? And some of that's in this class and some of it's not. And those are things that are really missing. I'm going to make sure that in the video you watch it or don't watch it. But once we're done here, I will break this up on my editor, and I'll put in markers for like chapters. So you'll be able to, on YouTube, it should pop up. Let's say you only want to go back and hear about the Excel basics. You can click on that and it'll take you right there, and you'll go, because I hate trying to listen to the whole thing to try and find one thing. I can never find it. So other than that, are there any questions from the room? There are no dumb questions. So again, email me any questions if you want to be anonymous and not ask a question. This class is like that. You're afraid to ask a question because you think it's real simple. There is no such thing as a simple question. It's the only thing is those questions hold you back. So if you have a question, even though you're going to be there and you just want to put it in there, at the beginning, I will answer those questions for you. Again, I want to leave you that same thing again. If you're turning your work during the week, and I'm not telling you what you have to do, it's up to you if you want to do it on a weekend. Weekends get busy for me. So sometimes I'm only grading first thing in the morning, and then I'm done because I got church or I got something else going on. So I'm up early. I'm at the coffee shop at 6. I'm usually done between 8 and 9 o'clock. But when I close the computer on a Saturday and Sunday, I'm pretty much done. If you have a question, you're welcome to text me. Don't email me on the weekends. I'd rather get a text message anyway. It's live. I don't have to find things. My phone number's in there. Please use it. Don't abuse it. Just put your name in there. So like Megan, you're still up first. So you put in Megan and Honeywell, Point Loma or Stats Point Loma or PLNU, whatever you want to do. So I know who you are. And then I say, and then ask the question. If it's something on the screen, take a picture of the screen and send that too. So I know where it is. So if I have my iPad, I can get in there and look at it and I can send you back a text message. If you get the idea of, can I call you? Because it's something I can't type out to make sense of it. And it takes a 2-minute phone call for you to finish your homework and get on and like some of you get to your kids, get to a sporting event or whatever. That's what I'm here for. So I don't worry about that stuff. I worry about the factor of, at the end of the semester, somebody going, well, I just really didn't understand anything. It's hard when I'm telling you, you can still email, but it may not be as fast as some. And with Canvas, I can do a little bit more Canvas than the other ones. But texting me, you're going to get an answer back pretty quick. And some of you you've already emailed and you got an answer back in like 2 minutes. I don't hold on to stuff like I don't hold on to grading. I need to do it. And if you text me and you don't get a text message back in 15 minutes, then you say, hey, did you see my text? You're not bothering me. I may have seen your text, went to do it, and somebody said, hey, I need you for this. And I get away from it. And I don't go back to the text message. Feel free to hit me again. You're not bothering me. What bothers me is when you don't get the work done, or I have to give you 5 or 6 edits when you could have asked the question, felt better, and kept going, and we get through this together and get to the end line, which is in 15 weeks or whatever, 14 weeks. Any questions?
Hi, Dr. Jeff. This is Kirsten.
Hi.
Hi. For the data dictionary portion, I was working on it yesterday, and I just want to clarify. So I completed the data dictionary in a Word document, but for the calculating the averages and percentages, is that supposed to be done in the Excel sheet with the data?
What percentages?
So on here on data, it said calculate the average for each columns with the ratio level of measurement, and then calculate the percentage of males and females for the column with nominal data.
Oh, hold on. You're killing me.
I'm sorry.
You're killing me. No, because I didn't see that. Because another thing I would never done. Which assignment is week 2, right?
Yeah, it's under the data dictionary.
Got it. I found it. Sorry, my bad. First page data these files. Use the variable name, description, and you can do the data dictionary in Word. Yeah, okay. For obesity, male and female, use the common range for that and that. Chapter 4 goes to the process of the formula and function. Calculate the average for each of the columns with you see me scratching myself. Calculate the average for each of the columns with the ratio of measurement. I'm going to say I don't understand the question. All I want you to do is put down the ratio of measurement.
Okay. Okay.
But are you telling me that you want me to calculate the mean for each of the columns? So that I'm going to say.
So it asks you like, under like obesity, diabetes, gender, age, what's the level of measurement for each of those data? And then it asks you to calculate those that you labeled or as ratios.
Right.
What is the average of those? And then the column that's a nominal data, what is the percentage? That's what I understood.
Okay, so if it's a nominal thing, yes, it's a percentage.
Like how many percent are male? How many percent of the patients are male? How many are female?
Okay. Hold on. Let's if you have to go, you're welcome to go. I'm going to try something here because I'm going to have to do every once in a while you're going to see me my head's just going to go, huh? Save. All right, Excel. I need the data set. And then, hold on, I'm sharing my screen. You see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is what you're looking at, right?
Correct.
Okay. So which one so gender would go under the frequencies. So you would need, and these formulas should have been there for you. Yeah, I need statistical. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do this. Oh, I think you have to do this individually. That's fine. So the array, if I'm correct. Come on, help me. Help me, help you. That's not right. Where's that little box? Try this again. This would be the array, and then the bin. Can't be right. It's not right. So, okay, so for the average, that's easy. So like here, oh, let me hit the escape button. Enter. You would get the average, and then let's see, statistical. And what are they asking for like the demographic, the descriptives?
So on here it's actually for the to calculate the average for the columns with the ratio level of measurements. So basically what I did was I went through and for all the ones I put the ratio for the measurement type. I calculated the average, and then it says for calculate the percentage of males and females for the columns with nominal data. So that's basically what I did for the male and female column as well.
So you got that number for diabetes.
Or let me see. Yep, that's what I got. Yep, I actually rounded up, so I put 7.4.
Exactly. Now how to do that is you go to format cells, you go to number, and then you put it at 2, and you hit OK, and it does it for you. So over here, you're only looking for a percentage here, and I'm gonna have to figure that out and do a video. But it's such a small number that, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 equals, and I don't remember which way to go. So it's 9. And how many participants were there?
14.
14 divided by 14, and it'll either come out the right way. Yeah. So it's 64%.
Yeah, that's what I got as well. 64% for female, and then 36%.
Right. And that's what that I guess that's what it's asking.
Yeah. Okay.
So in a real code book, you wouldn't do that. You would just say 1 is male and 2 is female, or 2 or vice versa. Diabetes, you just say diabetes is a ratio and it's a number. Very simple. So basically, so people know. Thanks for bringing that up. That's good, because I missed that again too. So we'll get through this together. So if I go back here and I close this bad boy, so turn the complete Excel sheet in your Word, calculate the percentage, calculate the average. I guess chapter 4 goes through how to do it. I'll have to go back and do it. Use a common range, so everybody knows how to get a range. Okay, let me see if this is still. I didn't close it, did I? No, I didn't. So which one? I need BMI. I need a range. Well, BMI is not even on here. It must be obesity. So range should be in here, and this one should be pretty easy to do. Sorry, gonna move us out of the way. Maybe I can move this down. Or this down. There we go. So if I go range for obesity, I should be able to go here, statistical, and then go down to R, and where is it? It's not there. Insert function. And there's no way. I'll have to figure out the functions and get those to you. Logical.
I understood it as when you're doing your data dictionary and you're assigning the possible values that you would assign the common range for BMI and A1C. So I just did like A1C is 5.4 to 20.
Perfect. And that's what you really do, but it should be really clear on how to get that in here so you're actually using the program. So, and it's not. So that's something I will figure out and get that as soon as possible. So yeah, so going over that assignment, you pretty much have everything now. So in essence, in the real world, data dictionary would have been, I would have gone with that Excel and I would have say patient ID, and that would be patient ID, and then obesity. Okay. And then you would define what obesity is. And it would, in this case, I would have put BMI or body mass index. Okay. And that would be it, because that's all it is. The code book just tells you what it actually is. Because if you were to do a large data set, you're going to have some names that are a little shorter. And basically, if you have the code book, you say, okay, I'm looking for this, bam. And then there's a definition of it. Diabetes. You would define what the diabetes is. We know, and here was I think it was a one, they were doing the type 2 or type 1 diabetes. You would put type 1 diabetes. Gender. Now you go, 1 is male, 2 is female, or vice versa. Age would be age of participant. That's all really a code book is. All the other stuff, I think it's just added in so you find the percentages rather than ask the questions in a different way. So just do all that and put that in there and you'll be fine. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I missed that, because I look at a code book as being just something where you say, okay, these are the variables. This is what they mean. And bam, I'm ready to go. So if I handed it off to anybody in the room, they would know exactly what those variables are. What you're doing now is you're doing descriptives and frequencies for each of those. And if I'm right, it is in the book. The directions of how to do it are in the book. So, all right. So remember, chapter 1, 2, and 3 are the background and the keywords of it. So make sure that you've taken the time to look through that textbook at those keywords, because those are the words I'm going to be using, a lot of them, like mean and standard deviation. So we all know what mean is and what standard deviation should be. Standard deviation is how dispersed are the values. And basically, it doesn't come really into play other than in a lot of areas, other than the factor that you're reporting it. So the person on the other end does. Now, remember, you are all scholars. Okay. And I am a scholar. It still makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, but I'm considered a scholar. What you're doing is scholarly work. So the idea here is that you have to make the statements about the information. Now, you don't have to fluff it up. You don't have to add to it, because a one word can change a direction. It's just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts, sir. It's my job to say you're right, or you're, if in a real research sense, you're right or you're wrong. I agree or I disagree. If I disagree, I got to come back and I got to rebut and say, this is what I see. And then you come back and say, this is what I see. And we may not meet. but both could be valid based on the knowledge that you have along the way. So you're just making, in some of these things, you're just making solid statements. So like males are 60 and females are 40. You don't have to embellish anymore on that. That's exactly what it is. If I want to see your data and I'm going to check your data, that's what a scholarly person does. Okay. It's not a point of saying you're wrong. It's that show me. That's easy. But then when you do a t-test and you put in the numbers and you go a completely different direction that it is, and your question and you change it and now it's right, when you report it in the real world, there'll be very little question on it. Okay. Same idea as confidence interval. You got a great answer and you got great numbers, but your confidence interval said confidence the number for the confidence interval is low. So it's weak. Your answer is real weak, but it's correct. That's where the vagueness comes in statistics. All right. Now, it is almost 8 o'clock. We're done. Unless you've got any questions, and I'll tell you how we're going to exit out. But
Can I ask a really quick question? Sorry. It's just
actually,
to clarify.
Can you hold on to that? Oh, well,
Sure.
Go ahead.
You want me to go ahead?
Shoot it. Yeah.
It's just quick. For the downloading an Excel file assignment, it says download the data dictionary and the hospice demographics, but you just want us to do the years in the Excel sheets, not the data dictionary in this assignment, right?
No, they're two separate assignments.
Okay. They're just together in the same.
Well, no, one's the data dictionary assignment, and the other one is, I can go back here to the modules real quick. Where is it? Where is it? Come on now, find it.
The downloading.
There is. That's a week. This is one assignment. This is the other assignment.
Right. In the description, though, it says download the data dictionary and the hospice demographics.
Correct.
But you just want us to turn in this assignment, the hospice demographics by year.
For the data dictionary, no, it's in a work. You're using this data set to answer the questions.
Right. The other assignment, the downloading an Excel file.
Hold on, let me get there.
That one. You see how it says download the data dictionary and the hospice demographics? On this one, you're just wanting the hospice demographics by year.
I think they want you. She wants you to see, whoever built this wants you to see that your assignment, as far as I can tell, comes right from here.
Right.
All it is open the data dictionary. It should be understandable.
Okay. I just wasn't sure what they want with this in this
That's
assignment.
not the right one.
Right.
Is that what comes up?
Well, that's the data dictionary. And then it says, and the hospice demographics. The hospice demographics opens
It's right here.
Right. That.
I don't know what that other one is. Just ignore that one. You're good. I'll get that fixed. I have my guy get that fixed. Here's the data dictionary. And then you go to download. Download. Just going to save it anywhere. Come on, save. Dun, dun. So this is what a real data dictionary is. You've got some other stuff added in. You'll just see hospice type, and it just gives a definition. Okay. You're just checking this one out.
Right.
Okay. You understand exactly what the words are in the other one. Okay. Does that make sense?
Right. So it's just for us to view. I'm doing the Excel sheet with the
doing the Excel sheet. That is correct.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pray us out. And then from there, I'm in here until the last person leaves. So if you have a question for me and that, stay. If not, you're welcome to go. So bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for tonight. Tonight was long. Most nights will be very short, probably 15, 20 minutes other than questions. It'll be very direct. This is because of the first time we're together. We want to make sure that any unanswered questions on anything are taken care of. Lord, please bless them as they go through the week, because we know that they're working and going to school. I worked and went to school, and I totally respect where they're at. Their time management is key. Lord, help them with their time management. On top of that, give them the peace of being able to maintain both their home life, their work life, and the school life, because the greater outcome of this will be greater things for their family, greater things for themselves, and greater things for you. Please forgive us our sins, keep us healthy and prosperous, Lord. We ask for all these things, and all God's people said, amen. So if you're done, check out. If you don't have any questions, if you have any more questions, stay. I'll